Morning, Jim McKinnon here with Money Management. We're going to follow up on what we did yesterday about the bank failures. Number one, I made a mistake. I said they were small banks. That's not true. I found out they were very large banks that went under. One in California, one in New York. And the question is, are there other banks to follow? Well, obviously, I don't know the answer to that question. My guess is yes, but I don't know the answer to that question for sure. I love President Biden came on TV and he made the statement, and this is what he said. Don't you worry, stockholders or people that have money in those banks. You will get every penny back, and the taxpayers will pay nothing. It will come out of the FDIC insurance. Lie. Lie. It's a proven fact that there's only enough money in the FDIC insurance to take care maybe three major bank failures. Well, this is two. So maybe there's one more to go before you get into our pockets. But sooner or later, folks, it's going to come out of our pockets. You can bet the bank on that. If there's a bunch of bank failures, and I'm not predicting there will be, and gee whiz, I hope there's not. If you remember what caused the Great Depression of the 20s, what happened is people perceived the banks were in trouble. So if the banks were in trouble, that means your money may be in trouble. So what everybody did was they had a run on the banks. Everybody went in to take their money out. Well, once you start taking your money out of the banks, then the banks did get in trouble, and that's what caused the Great Depression. I think there are checks and balances in the system now that we didn't have back in the 20s. I don't think that can happen again. Can I guarantee that? Of course not. But I really think I don't know that we're going to have that many bank failures that's going to put us into a depression because of the run. I think they're a lot smarter today. I think they'll close them down before the money's all taken out. And, we'll just have to wait and see. Bottom line is, you can't believe our president. He knows better than that when he says not a penny worth of taxpayers' money going to be spent. Right now we're in what I call a herd mentality. If you don't know what a herd mentality is, if you ever know anything about sheep, and I don't know anything about sheep, but I read about them. Here's what happened with sheep. There'll be a ton of sheep up there having grazing. And let's say there's a cliff and the sheep are grazing, and all of a sudden one sheep, for whatever reason, decides to jump off the cliff. Well, the rest of the sheep will follow. It's the herd mentality. So before you know it, all of the sheep are jumping off of the cliff to their death. And I'm assuming they know they're going to die because they look down there and they see it's a couple of 100 feet to the ground. But they do it. Herd mentality. And that's the same thing we get into. You and I get into that. A couple of years ago, I told you about, in my opinion, the greatest break the Internal Revenue Service ever gave us. And it was the ability to take up to $100,000 out of your qualified plan, be it an IRA, 401k, whatever, and pay the taxes over a 3-year period at no interest. No interest. That's the first and only interest-free loan I've ever known that the IRS allowed us to have. Well, what did the herd do? The herd says, that's not such a good idea. We're not going to do that. I must have done, Kim, 20, 30 webinars on that. And I did it myself, and I even showed you my statements. And I said, you need to do this. Well, right now I'm paying my third year's taxes on that because you had to pay it over 3 years. So I'm paying after that, I'm home free. So I've had access to that money for all this time, and I'll continue to have access to it. And I put it someplace where it's going to grow tax-free. Not tax-deferred like in a qualified plan, but tax-free. But most people didn't do that. Why? Herd mentality. Herd mentality says we're going to jump, we're going to jump over the fence. We're going to fall down a cliff 200 feet to the ground. That's what the herd does. Oh, well, that's the way my daddy did it. Okay. That's the way my granddaddy did it. Okay. If you look up contrarian in the dictionary, I would probably be it. I try to do the opposite of what most people are doing because most people don't really retire rich. In fact, if you look at statistics, when I first started in this business 55 years ago, statistics were only 5 out of 100. 5 out of 100 people that started out working at age 21, 22 actually were going to retire rich. Now, 55 years later, what do you want to guess that those statistics are? Same. Only 5 out of 100 in the richest country in the world retire rich. Why? Because you're doing the wrong things. Because of the herd mentality. My granddaddy did it. My daddy did it. Well, good. How did they live? See, what you got to consider, can you get by on the amount of money you got with 20% inflation, 30% inflation? And that's coming. The Federal Reserve is very, very careful. The only thing they can do to fight inflation is raise interest rates. Right now, they can't raise, well, they can, and they're going to have to. But when they raise interest rates, that's affecting these already banks that are in trouble because they got to pay more interest. The biggest debtor in the world is our own country because we're paying the debt on all that shenanigans that we've written for. We're putting billions into Ukraine, a country that didn't even like us. We're paying billions. We don't have that money. We're just printing it out of midair. Sooner or later, it's going to come get us. Herd mentality, folks. Now, you can say Jim's crazy. He don't know what he's talking about. I wish I could tell you the number of calls we got January 1st when that IRA interest-free loan got taken away. And I told him 1,000 times, didn't I, Kim, that ends December 31st. It can't backdate it. You got to do it. And all of a sudden, people sat on their fannies, did nothing, and then come January 3rd or 4th or 5th, started calling like crazy. Hey, I've been thinking about I think I need to do it. You got to get off, we got to get off of our fannies and do something different, or we're going to be in deep trouble. What can you do? You know, if you've got money invested, I think we can help you. I think we can show you maybe some ways to keep it safer. You know, if the market just totally crashes, there's no way you're not going to lose money, except there's precious metals, and we do precious metals. So, hey, if we can help you, we'd love to. Don't do the herd mentality. Do something different. No fees, no charges. Be happy to talk to you. Our number is, Kim, tell them my number.
601-990-2390.
601-990-2390. Hey, thanks for watching. Hope you have a great week.